Let me first introduce myself. My name is Carla Sevillano. I'm a level designer currently working at Tequila Works, sorry. And I'm also a content creator on social media, and I'm thrilled to be the host of this exciting event. Today, we have the honor of meeting amazing industry experts, both on the audience and also on the stage. And what is the agenda for today? First of all, we will talk about the difficult times the industry is facing from the perspective of both studios and publishers. We will also meet, of course, the teams that have been incubated in this GameBCN 9th edition, and as the grand finale, we will have a networking cocktail powered by Catalan Arts and Indie Dev Day. Without further delay, please welcome Joan Francesc Bañó, GameBCN Executive Director. Come here.
Do you know how many video games teams are in Catalonia? 206. And do you know how many teams there was 10 years ago? 74. In GameBCN, in these 10 years, 9 years exactly, we helped to create more than 50 companies. I remember when I was a kid, and my father opened the door of the bedroom, and we give to my brother and me our first video console, the Atari. And we start to play Froggy, Gorillas, and these kind of video games. And then, some years later, I played Final Fantasy VII. Wow, amazing video game. For me, it's my favorite video game. And I thought, I would like to enter in this world. I don't want to create. I would like to create something like this. And now, the GameBCN team and me, we are not able to create this. We are boosting the ecosystem, and we are helped to create a lot of companies, nurturing them with trainees, with production, weekly sprints, it's incredible. And connecting with the ecosystem and the community. And we are a part of the engine, we are a wheel in this engine, but all of this, is thanks to the talent that we have here in Catalonia, thanks to the big companies, for sure, that support us, and the public administration, that they invest the last 10 years. And the best thing of all of this is that these figures only will go up if you continue to support it. Enjoy it.
Wow, do you know any of these games? Did you know that they were incubated in GameBCN? Yes, they did. I would like to take this moment to thank our promoters, because without their support, this wouldn't be possible. I want to thank Direcció General d'Innovació I Cultura Digital de la Generalitat de Catalunya, as well as the Ajuntament of Barcelona, for their backing of this program. Please welcome Marisol López, Directora General d'Innovació I Cultura Digital.
Hi, thank you. Thank you. So thank you for coming, and congrats for the 9th edition. So next year we will have a very, very big party, I hope. And I won't say what you're expecting to me to say, that it's, I remember when with Simon we met for creating this incubator. No, because this is the same story I say every year. No, this year will be different. So I hope you will enjoy not only today, I'm sorry, but also tomorrow. We are going to Indie Dev Day. You will see a lot of Catalan video games there. The landscape, the community is super alive, and I'm sure that you will find something that interested you. And a les companyies que hi ha la gent que heu participat aquí, aprofiteu molt aquests dies, aprofiteu molt conèixer la gent, aprofiteu conèixer-nos a nosaltres. Demà és el Talent Dev Day, espero que no us faci falta perquè és per la gent que busca empresa i vosaltres ja esteu treballant en tot això, però sí que demà a les 12:30 tenim una xerrada sobre ajuts públics per la creació de videojocs i si voleu tirar endavant el vostre projecte, que és el que hauríeu de fer, nosaltres estem aquí per ajudar-vos, aquí hi ha tota una sèrie de gent que treballem per això, per tant, si podeu demà us sabreu i us explicarem una mica el que hi ha. So, see you today, see you tomorrow, congrats GameBCN, and I hope that you will enjoy the evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marisol. Mireia Escobar, who is the Directora de Industrias Creativas de la ICUP, couldn't come because he had personal reasons, so we can see her here. Sorry, but thanks, Mireia, for the support to GameBCN. I also want to mention our valuable partners, Social Point, Cluster, Gamelove Barcelona, Marvelous, Anchor Point, Ubisoft Barcelona, IO Interactive, and FunPlus that let us keep growing and provide priceless mentors for our teams. Thank you so much. We are so proud of every single team that has been part of our program. They gave their best to succeed. Unfortunately, the 40% of the teams couldn't survive, but most of their members are actually working in your companies. And just because of the difficulties that the indie studios face to survive, today we wanted to talk about the times in the industry. Even big companies are firing thousands of people. So let's jump to our first panel. The crisis in video game sector and the evolution of the market from a publisher's point of view. Please join me on the stage.
Thank you very much for coming, everyone. It's a pleasure to see this huge space full of people, industry professionals. And it's a great pleasure to meet and have these awesome people here with us. Please introduce yourself, because you will do much better than me.
Hi everyone, I'm Sarah Burns, Head of Production Operations at Marvelous Europe. We're a publisher based in London. We also have a partner, sister company in California, and our parent company is in Japan.
Hi everyone, my name is Magda. I'm the game scout for Nocturne Games, which is a new games fund. I used to work for a publisher for a couple of years. Now, I like to think it was one of the good ones because all of our developers were happy, but now I've decided to switch things a little bit, and we're supporting actually self-publishing, so we're something new on the market. Yeah, that's basically Nocturne.
Hi, thank you for coming. I'm Pablo de la Nuez. I have been around like 27 years. I started at Dynamic Multimedia, then I found with some partners FX Interactive, and now I'm leading Racer Games, which is a publisher that belongs to Webedia, and a French multinational company.
Thanks. And for the few of you who doesn't know me, I'm Oscar, and I've been managing GameBCN for the last 7 years. And let's jump into the issue because I think it's super important. We run out of time. So the video game industry has been growing exponentially over the past decades, generating millions of euros. So in your opinion, how we ended up in a crisis situation resulting into project cancellation and thousands of dismissals? Who wants to break the ice?
So I think it's a combination of multiple factors, really, including like market saturation. I mean, it's never been easier to make video games. We're all vying for visibility on storefronts. There isn't enough space for everyone when you're competing with AAA titles, you know. There's also like global economic challenges since COVID and such that people's money doesn't go as far as it used to. You know, we have to choose between, you know, what hobbies and then which games, really. And again, it's with the projects that are getting longer and longer, people are losing their jobs because of complications. It's, how do I say? Scope is creeping, expectations are larger, budgets are bigger, and if the the conversion is not there when it comes out, then as we've seen recently with what was it called? My brain. Yeah, Encore. That people have worked on these things for years, and they are then shut down due to expectations. It's a challenging time right now for multiple factors, but
So, as Sarah said, there's multiple factors, and I bet there's a ton of YouTube videos that would explain this much better, but obviously in every economy, in every industry, there's a cycle. There's a cycle of ups and downs, and I guess game dev is just not immune. And I think COVID has actually really allowed us to get to the highest of highs, because I remember I joined the industry in 2018, and everyone and their mother decided to start a publishing label, decided to start a studio. The budgets were getting really crazy. And honestly, even games that I thought, probably they shouldn't have been signed, or not at least with this kind of budget, they still found publishers. So obviously after all this, again, this high, this is the moment when we reach the bottom, and it's just more painful because of the COVID surge, wherein everyone decided to invest in game dev, and now it's like, I remember last year, especially when we were releasing, I was working with a publisher, we were releasing Lords of the Fallen in fall 2023. It's like, it was hell. So market saturation, as Sarah said, as well as the moment when COVID struck, the budgets rose, the production timeline also got longer, everything was more expensive, and then suddenly the market was so oversaturated, everything just crashed in one spectacular moment. So I guess we're just paying the price now for all of that. So.
It is true that there are many factors. I would like to point to, let's say, different ones. The first thing is that for the first time, I believe there are like secure zone games. I mean, the new generations, they have games as a service that has been running for many years now. And they can go into new games, premium games, and then they can always get back to these Fortnite, Minecraft, Roblox games. And that's completely different from what it was many years ago when you go from one game to another. Now they can get back to these games, and they don't need so much to buy new games. So that's one of the things that I see like a real difference. The other one, obviously, is that at the same time that the barriers go down to make games, it is true that there are much more competitors. And I think one of the, especially in Spain, because I know in Poland, for example, I think that's much better managed. But for example, in Spain, we have like 480,000 studios, something like that. I mean, official ones, okay? So that means that the average studio in Spain, they has like 4 team members. And in other territories, what they are doing is they are partnering these studios to make studios stronger. So it's better to have a studio of 15 people than not having 3 studios with 5 people, okay? So I think that's something that also is generating a lot of content, and at the end there is no so much, I mean, yeah, we're talking about billions, of players, but there's not so much discoverability for everyone. So we need to reduce games, we need to make teams stronger, and at the same time, and I think we should need to take this cycle as an opportunity. I have seen many crises in the industry. This is not the first one. For many of you, it would be the first one for sure. But there has been others in the past, and every time that we had this, what happened is, the industry got stronger. So I think we should take this as an opportunity.
Cool. I got something that you said, Magda, that some games shouldn't be invested, during the COVID, and then why that happened, I mean, what do you think, what was the reason of investing in something that you were not sure that was going to succeed?
I mean, I'll be honest, back then we were, as a publisher, we were kind of holding back because it was like, okay, let's maybe wait for the situation to, for the temperature to go down, because it was like everyone, the competition between publishers was very, very hot. But there was also a trend of, developers bringing bigger budgets. It's like, I bet every case for those games had like a perfect Excel somewhere in the background, a perfect revenue forecast that was like, yes. Same for Concord, right? I bet they have a perfect market analysis that says, yes, we should invest billions of dollars into this. It's like, it's going to be a success. But in the end, revenue forecasting and thinking about trends, it's always an elaborate guessing game, right? So I guess we shouldn't just follow trends blindly with games.
So may I ask if the crisis affected the companies that you represent somehow in terms of project cancellations, as we said before, or dismissals? May I?
Absolutely. Yes, yes, it has. Obviously, the first thing that had happened is that many studios start to lose confidence on what they should do, because and I guess we have all seen this on Gamescom, for example. Then you find publishers that they say, no, you have to do games, smaller games, or lower budgets, so we don't take so much risk. And at the same time, you find publishers that said you exactly the opposite. So you have to make bigger games, because otherwise we won't be able to get enough returns. So it's a very turbulent time. So studios don't know very well what they should do, and some of them has, of course, decided to reduce the team, while others has gone into bigger bets, which at the end has affected also them, because they didn't got the money, and then they had to close. So, and in our case, for the studios we work with, or the partners that we have very close, yeah, they have been severely affected.
I think it's affected sort of the risks that we're taking at the moment. I think a lot of publishers are taking less risks at the moment, and it affects budgets and what sort of titles we're looking at. It's very hard to find a sure thing, but we're leaning into our strengths and the sort of type of games that we are good at, what we can bring value to, as opposed to sort of wider remit at the moment, I would say.
Well, I think, especially in my case, Nocturne was kind of born as a reason, as a response to what is happening on the market, because, again, we are not a publisher, but we do support self-publishing, because we know that working with a publisher sometimes causes problems. Obviously, people have war stories. I would still, if there's a good publisher, I would still sign with them, but if you have a bad publisher, everything will go wrong. Like, everything is like, it's the worst kind of scenario. Because obviously publishers, they have to manage a portfolio. Sometimes they like to see what sticks and what doesn't. Sometimes your game doesn't gain the traction they anticipated, and it's like, okay, we need to focus on something else. that we have in our portfolio, but it is not your game. And it's good for their business, but it's not good for the developer, obviously. And with Nocturne, we really want to support self-publishing, mostly because we want to give back the control to developers. And I think even if you're looking for a publisher, and you should be looking, you should have a plan B in self-publishing, and you should be building your community around your studio, and you should be building visibility by yourself as a plan B, because a lot of games will not get signed, I'm afraid, this year, probably beginning of next year as well. It's like, I mean, even today, Merge Games, we've heard that we've lost another publisher, so it's like, unfortunately, it's the situation, so.
Thank you very much for your transparency. I didn't know how embarrassing would be this question, so thank you. So given the current industry challenges, what changes are you making in your long-term strategy to ensure stability and profitability? Who wants?
Okay, I go. In our case, what we have changed radically is that we are trying to test the core loop, the concept at really very beginning. So we are transforming the prototype process to be sure that we can use platforms where we test if the experience, if the gameplay, it's going to work. In that case, then we try to test it very fast again with real audience, and then we decide to go into pre-production and production. So that's something. I mean, obviously, since you are not seeing the process, you know, but again, it's really fast. I mean, we are trying to get back to iterate in I wouldn't say even weeks, days, the core loop with real audience. So that's the first thing that we are doing. The second one is we are trying to convince the studios to really concentrate on gameplay, not technical quality, because we should be aware that there is a new generation coming. It's Generation Z. It represents around 68% of players, current players, and they have a completely different way of seeing the games. So surely you will be all aware of Lethal Company success. Lethal Company is a game that it could have never existed, I would say 5 years ago, 4 years ago, something like that, right? I mean, as a publisher, we never would have taken this game. And it has demonstrated that there is a new generation coming. So I think another factor of this crisis that we are suffering is that there is a new generation with a new language, with new demands, and that we should take care.
So we, as an investment fund, again, we're not a publisher, so we're doing things a little bit different. Yes, like we do have a milestone plan, let's say, but we have fewer milestones, especially production milestones. It's not like monthly or even bi-monthly, whatever. But we added something that we call publishing milestones, where we did some calculations like, at this stage, the game should have this and this many wish lists, or this and this many followers, or this and this many members on Discord. So we know we're on track to success. Obviously, those are not like mandatory. It's more like an indication, are we on the right track to success, or should we maybe course correct or something like that. But what you've mentioned, playtests, that is so crucial. Like, what we like is community validated development. Like, you need to engage your players very, very early on, and they're going to give you a lot of good feedback, and you should really pay attention to this. So that's what we do. That's what we do.
Not sure how much more I can add to that, really, but you know, I think our strategy at the moment is clearly we've been focusing more on our internal titles that we make ourselves. We're a publisher and developer, and sort of reducing the risk on external, on external titles, sort of budget-wise and scope-wise at the moment. But that's about it, really.
Thank you. Just one question for you, Pablo, and thinking about the teams that we have incubated this year. So in which stage of development you're looking for the teams? Because it looks like you may be interested in also teams in an early stage of development to test this core loop. Because they will all attack you.
Yeah, okay.
It's a networking cocktail. So.
Sure. Obviously, you have been all facing the same issue, which is you approach a publisher and then we say, yeah, we are all marvelous, but then we ask for vertical slice or demos or even the game almost done to say yes. Okay. This is what I'm going to say. Okay, is my personal view. Surely a lot of publishers won't agree with this, but the thing is, when I have seen a game that attracts me, I see it instantly. I don't need a vertical slice. I don't need a deck. I don't need to spend hours and hours with the team. Okay, that's the truth. So if you don't get a bright in my eyes instantly, that means that it's going to take time. Okay. If that happens, then obviously you must do the full project, the full process, and know more about the team and if the project makes sense, blah blah. Okay, but that's the main for me. That's the most important thing. So if that happens only with an idea, that's okay. If that happens with a vertical slice, okay. If that happens with a demo, okay. So it doesn't matter the stage. It really matters
okay.
if we are adding value for these communities or not.
Cool. Thank you. So you all mentioned before about the rising, of development costs. So in my opinion, for the last years, games tend to be more spectacular, longer, to be better than their competitors. So in this case, are rising development costs forcing publishers to be more selective in the types of games that they greenlight?
I mean, yeah, rising costs is definitely happening. I've seen it sort of year on year right now, and so that we do need something like again, you can, as I say, tell if something is a great title straight away, but actually trying to sell it in and actually get it past green light is when you need the vertical slice. That's the reality really right now of trying to sign a title, but. It's a cautious landscape at the moment. Yeah. Sorry.
Yes, I think, especially from my perspective, I've been working with Nocturne since April, and I'm not gonna lie, we've seen hundreds of projects. And we have stages, like obviously we initially discuss it with a team, then there's like revenue forecast, due diligence, investment committee. So to the last due diligence stage, which is when it's like, okay, the game is good, the budget is good, then Excel says yes. Right now we have, I think, 4 or 5 projects that made it to this stage. And some didn't make it, made it through revenue forecast, or didn't make it through revenue forecast, when it was like, oh, it's a great game, it's not gonna make money. So that is probably the most heartbreaking moment, because you can see this game is worth making, but it's not worth investing in. This is probably the worst. I can talk about those titles because I still carry them around, like, somebody should have picked this up. But seriously, a lot of great games will not be made because of that, unfortunately.
I would say also that you need to be aware that we are in a competitive space. So that means that, we are a very, I would say select publisher, but not in terms of quality, but because of what the games that we need to publish, because they need to have a resemble with what our group does. So it's not all the games can go through. And even with that, we receive like 400 projects per year, something like that. I'm sure Nocturne, you will be receiving, or you will be receiving much more than that. And at the end, you have to pick one or two or three. So even if they could be great games, obviously you put them to compete one with another and try to, as Magda says, try to see which is the one that has more options to be profitable, right?
Okay, thank you. So as the game offering has been increasing for the last years, also new publishers have emerged to take advantage of this market growth. So with more games being released, every year, how are publishers adapting to stand out in an oversaturated market? Good question.
I have this recurrent conversation with other publishers, which is we don't know what's going on. That's the truth. So we don't know why there are games like Balatro or Lethal Company or many others that stand out. And the worst thing is that we don't know how to replicate that. So again, I'm insisting a lot on this idea because we have been doing a huge analysis on that new generations has a new way of playing and they demand new things. And everything is about social, everything is about viral, everything is about having a good time with the friends. And this is what we should be trying to explore, but it's very easy to say and very difficult to achieve, obviously.
Unfortunately, there is not a secret formula, right?
I mean, as Pablo said, we know nothing. I don't know what I'm saying. Really, I'm making up as I go. No, but I mean, seriously, all of the things we're doing is mostly, a mix of gut feeling, Excel work, and just trying to find the magical USP, the unique selling point that's going to be like, oh, no one has ever done this before, but like maybe mixing with a familiar formula, because I think that's the best way you can do things, like do a twist on something people are familiar with, but bring something else to the table, like Balatro, like everyone knows poker, but they're doing something different. It's a very strong USP. Same with Peglin. Everyone knows pinball, right? It's like, but then you mix it with something else. It's a completely new flavor. So it's like Fusion Kitchen, I guess. Hope that helped.
Yeah, 100% is finding that something special. Like, what does it do differently? Why should they buy it over like the leading titles that are similar to it? So, yeah, it's probably similar to what we do. We're sort of known for our farming sims, for example. And we announced a title this year, which is like a farming sim. It's called Moonlight Peaks, but the twist was that you're a vampire, so you can't actually wake up early. You've got to wake up late and make sure that we're trying to do any farming, but also you have like vampire powers. It was something like that appealed to us. But it exists. It should appeal to our existing fan base that we have, so we can. We have a market there already that we can share with, and they react well to it now. It would be, we can't just keep churning out the same stuff, of course, because people get like fatigued and tired of it. But finding that twist on something, again, I see a lot of titles that it's just like this game and just like that game. It's like, that's great, but it sounds like you're making a game just for you, but it's not. What does it offer better or different over its other titles?
Good. I'm just take this question out from what you mentioned about these new generations looking for new trends, new things. But you mentioned, for example, Balatro or Peckling, that for me, what they're doing is just mixing existing genres. So, I mean, are you paying attention to the needs of new generations of players looking for more social features or something like that? Or
we do. I don't know the others. Sure, and invite you. I do not work for Roblox, okay? But I do invite all of you to play Roblox. Probably you would think that I'm crazy, and I must confess, the first time that I went into Roblox, I thought like, okay, I'm gonna die, or I do prefer to die. It's really awful, okay? But then you go into that and you see amazing ways of doing new gameplay experiences. Let's call that, because I mean it sometimes they even seem like a game. Okay, but it's different. It's like, you know, if you come from Facebook and then you go in on TikTok, and it's different. But now everyone is on TikTok, so you need to know how it works. So we do look a lot because we see that the industry has matured, which is absolutely normal, and now everyone that comes to this world, it's a new player. Everyone, 100%. Okay, and they don't know the games that we used to do 10 years, 20 years, in my case, 30 years ago. So their approach is what they see. So they come to this video games world playing Minecraft or Roblox on Fortnite, and that means a lot. So if you do not take attention to that, then I think it's more complicated. It doesn't mean that we will see AAA traditional games, but the truth is we have seen all that, what had happened with Final Fantasy. So Final Fantasy, sorry, Joanne, Final Fantasy right now it's not the formula to maintain their success, unfortunately, because new players don't understand these kind of games.
So developers take note of that. Talking about business models, are subscription models like the Xbox Game Pass or PlayStation Plus more of a challenge or opportunity for publishers in terms of monetization and visibility? Who wants to start?
I think it really depends on the title. Maybe I think if you have a running series and then you get previous titles on Game Pass, then it's going to give you a visibility boost for your latest title. It's almost like a premium demo. It's like they try that and oh, what, this seems good, but what are you doing better in your next title? And they might pick that up. But if you haven't got a long-standing series behind the title, how do you make it appeal to the subscription models and make money? That's a question I can't answer.
I'll be honest. It's an opportunity and a challenge. It always depends on the deal. Like you have to calculate yourself the risk, the benefits you're gonna get from, because obviously those deals come with a lot of marketing support. Visibility is what we're all chasing. So it's really hard to say no, especially if it like covers your development budget and everything above that is just free money, right? So you always have to go case by case, but it's always better to have that option than not. Yeah. So definitely. Go for it. Always see what's there.
I mean, also, at the end, like Oscar Wilde said, it's better that people hear about you, even if it's worse. Surely, I'm sure that's not the quote, but you understand. So for me, it's the same thing. You know, you get visibility, you get distribution. Even people think that your game is even more important because it has been selected by Xbox or by Sony. So I think it helps a lot.
Cool. So due to the increasing competition that we have been talking about during these last minutes, are publishers feeling the pressure to release games faster to meet demand? And if so, how does this impact to game quality?
It's a good question. I don't feel like we are feeling the pressure to release faster, really. I think because that would just result in a poor quality game. I think people would much rather have a fully baked title than something that is going to say, when something releases with a lot of bugs, then you can get review bombed and it's just going to be a negative reception. At the end of the day, it's more important for us that we release a title that is ready to go and can be received well than rush it out because of a competitor or similar. I mean, I can understand if it's something to do with maybe financial years and we really need to get it out in March rather than April, but other than that, no, we wouldn't be sort of forcing devs. Much more in line of make sure it's right and ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, there's this saying, very famous, that a delayed game can be eventually good, but a bad game is going to be bad. It's like, I I could tattoo it on my hand if it's like, especially at my previous publisher, we've always had this kind of rule that the game has to be good, and that's why playtesting and mock reviews and everything, if something comes up, we're ready to delay it. If there's like this window, this quarter of the year is not good to release the game because no one will notice it, let's wait it out. I know it costs money, but it's just, you know, I don't think I've ever had a game that finished with the budget the developer promised, and I think it's just part of our industry. So that's okay. I think it's okay.
In our case, since we belong to a multinational, I can tell you that the pressure is high. But I totally agree. What we are doing because my sensation is that publishers, what we are really pressed is because of find the game that is going to work. Okay, we cannot allow to have many fails in a row because people get nervous, obviously. I mean, investors. So in our case, what we are doing is to tell the teams to cut off 20% of the project. And this is true. I mean, it's obviously it's not a formula, but when they come with a project, we say, okay, we are going to do only 80% of the game. So just to be sure that we are doing the 80% best of the game, then we cut this 20%, and if the game goes well, then we take that 20% and add it as a whatever, depending on the game. That's the best approach that we have had to be sure that we can meet the deadlines and the budget is not growing indefinitely.
Cool. Let's do one last question because we are running out of time. After a year of uncertainty, things seem to be stabilizing. When do you think that we are going to go back to normal again? Any idea? I know you.
What is normal?
Good question. Well, I mean, for example, it's for the last year, for example, GameBCN teams have had a lot of problems to find a publishing deal, and so when do you think that the market, will change to opportunities for them will come back, that they can sign publishing deals and launch games?
Okay. This seems like a very negative approach, sorry about that, but I think that the market needs to readjust, and it needs to take off a lot of companies from the market. Take off, please understand that well. I hope that it's on the way I proposed you at the very beginning, which is, joining many companies in one, not having so many companies. But it needs to stabilize in terms that, and we need to find the correct number of games that the market can really manage. We are having 2,000 new games on Steam every year, and 50% of those games, they are not doing more than, in fact, they are doing less than $1,000. $1,000. I mean, it doesn't cover anything. Yeah. So we need to stop doing that. Okay, we can certainly release games as a team to learn and to do some tests and to understand how you can self-publish yourself, these kind of things for sure. But we need to stop extra feeding the market with games that they are not going to work because it cannot. And I don't know how much time that would take. Probably, again, maybe it sounds quite negative, but I think that we need like 1 or 2 years more to address that.
Cool. Thank you for your honesty.
Or maybe we need another pandemic, maybe. That could work. It worked last time, but no, seriously, sorry for the dark humor, but I'm cautiously optimistic because, yes, a lot of things are dying, but at the same time, we have other options that are coming up, like Outer Sloth. Like, I think they've just announced that they funded like 12 games or something, and it's kind of similar to Nocturne, like self-publishing and everything. It's like, I think there's another investment fund coming with options. There's Nocturne. It's like, there are still options. So maybe slowly it's coming back, but obviously, hope for the best, prepare for the worst, always. So.
Yeah, what can I add to that? I mean, yeah, I totally agree. I think we need to be cautious. Well, I think publishers will be cautious for a little while longer yet, really. But I mean, I kind of positively, I see there's new job openings that are coming up, and there are positions going around, so there is hopefully growth happening. But again, as you mentioned, Merge Games was lost today, and there are still redundancies happening. I think there's going to be a brain drain on the industry, really, that it's going to be a case of people are going to have to start, self-publishing, really, to all this talent that's there before, so we don't lose it. I think we just have to hold on for a little longer, really. Okay.
Thank you very much for your honesty. It's a shame that we can hear optimistic answers. That's all for today. Thank you very much for your collaboration. It has been a pleasure. Thank you.
Well, thank you, everyone. Our next panel is called Perseverance and Juggling, Survival of an Indie Company. Oscar, you can stay here while the panelists join us on the stage.
Please, welcome. Welcome. It's an honor to have these amazing developers from Catalonia. I would like you better introduce yourselves again, because you will do that much better than me. Jami, would you like to start?
Yeah, of course.
There you go.
Hi everyone, I'm Jami from Melgo Studios. We are based here in Barcelona, around 30 people, and looking for a publisher, so that's why I'm here. Thank you for inviting. It's a pleasure to share the round table with you, of course, and with Ferran and Alexis.
Thank you. I am Ferran Puntí, the CEO of the Bridge Studios, also here in Barcelona, also talking right now with some publishers and investors. And we are here with this title, Survive. So, yeah, we are survivors.
Hi, I'm Alexis. I'm one of the 3 founders of Piccolo. We are a studio in Barcelona. We have around 30 employees right now. We develop games based on narrative. It sounds very old school, coming from the last, but that's what we were set to do when we created the companies. And we are looking for publishers soon as well.
I wanted to invite these 3 people because they are great indie developers with a long trajectory, at least in Catalonia. And even though they are still having, problems, to survive, and they have to juggle, So since we had just talked about, the crisis in the video game sector, did it affect it to you directly? And how, if I may ask? Who wants to, Ferran, go for it, yeah.
Okay, yes, it affected a lot. So, maybe some of you know what is a SWOT, when you do the matrix with the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, threatness. And it's difficult sometimes to see what will happen in the future, but you do that, you do the exercise. But in our case, the pandemic was not a good news, let's say. We had a first investor in 2020. When the pandemic comes, they did ERTO, so basically reducing and freezing team by more than 2,000 people. the first thing that was like cut was the video games because it was strategic before the COVID, not after the COVID with the problems. Then we had a publisher, we signed it a $4 million agreement. Everybody is super happy in 2021. But the war in Ukraine and Russia started, and it drive to, again, lose this investment. So yes, you can do SWOTs, but sometimes it's super difficult to predict everything. So yes, it affected us a lot. And yeah, later I will explain a little more about that.
Well, in our case, we published 2 games, and for the record, and that's one for Magda, on time and on budget. So, yeah, but we were working on our 3rd game, then pandemic. After pandemic, the crisis came, and we got our 3rd game canceled, as many other games from the same publisher. So we hit, rock bottom, and we had to dig deeper. So for a lot of months, and we had to find ways to survive as a studio, and we were like 1 year to secure financing, doing juggling, with finances. Of course, putting ourselves at risk, which is what you do when you own the company. But we did it. By now we have survived. We have attracted investment, foreign investment. We have grown back the team because we had to cut down a bit the team. But we had one thing clear, at least in our case, it was that, we could lose, we were 30 people. We could lose 3, 4 people, but we didn't want to, cut on half the company or something. We didn't want to lose the talent we have. And we said ourselves, we do it with all these people or we don't. We find financing to keep this, or we just shut down the company. That's our take. And it might seem foolish, but it worked.
Thank you. Yes, it does. Actually, today is my birthday.
Oh.
So, thank you.
Hello. Happy birthday.
I'm saying this because, of course, it does affect. Otherwise, I will be celebrating with my friends and my family. I wouldn't be here, so.
We are your friends.
Thank you. So, yes, no, so now seriously. I'm going to this is my 6th year, about going to 7th year in this industry. It has always been like a roller coaster, right, all the time. We have already released 4 games in the market, to original IP and to a full development service. And it's a different kind of problem, right? But it has always been a roller coaster, and we're trying to survive. But this time, recently I think I can summarize in 1 games that could summarize that crisis or how the industry is going on. And I'm going to say this because this is my birthday. Payday 3, okay? Why I'm saying Payday 3? Our publisher was Service, and after they released Payday 3, because due to unexpected resource of Payday 3, they had to shut down their publishing division and cancel our game. So it was a kind of a cascade, right? We are at the end, the last state of this industry. But not everything is negative, because we've been working with Starbase, a big publisher. During last year, our game is better defined, I would say. Our USP is very targeted. We learn how to define the game or how to develop the game as a product, thinking about the users, not only the developers as a studio. So, and the other good thing is that we have a very solid team, very motivated and very supportive. So I think not everything is bad, right?
Cool. Jiangmi, maybe one of the publishers we have here, gives you a gift today.
There.
Okay. So one thing that surprises me is when an investment deal is cancelled, is the lack of protection that studios suffer. So is it possible, I don't know, to find a solution, for that not to happen?
Okay, I'm going to say something more private thing. This is today my kind of revealing thing. But I used to be a lawyer in my in my past past life. So when I'm going to talk about the last publishing deal that has been cancelled, right? I spent days and nights reviewing the contract and negotiating with the publisher. We tried to, they were pretty flexible. Both of us, I think, were pretty flexible. And finally, we defined, after 2 weeks, I think, we got it how to say, equilibrado, how to say that? Fair, yes, fair contract. But when a publisher, the thing is that when a publisher decided to cancel your contracts, there's nothing to do. There's nothing to do because not everything can be covered. But the thing is that one thing we did, we should have done something that we didn't, is that we take it for granted that the publisher know how to do their job. We just take it for granted because they are publisher and they are putting a lot of money on our projects because they believe us, right? We thought that our work was limited to develop a good game, and that's all. But now I realize that of course, we are not going to ask for a due diligence as they do, right? But at least we should do it, at least to take on the publisher's team page the game that has recently been released. How did they do the marketing plan? If they have a strategy. So at least you're more, you don't take it for granted, nothing, right?
Okay. Yeah, I think in short, no. You can protect yourself. That's how the industry works. That's how it's going to continue working. The only safety net that you have is how good is your game, right? And even so, it's not enough, right? So, unfortunately, we've been in that place, having games canceled. It's part of the industry. You have, your company has to be stronger to survive that. At least in all kind of companies, of course, right?
Yeah, we don't have power. You know what I mean? I've been in the industry. So I started in 2000. I look super young, I know, but I'm not. So I started in 2000, but doing this kind of contracts, let's say it was more around 2011. So quite time, a lot of contracts signed, and I've seen the power of the studio decreasing in times like this, where you need to sign something, let's say. It's also worse. Of course, you can try to negotiate kill clauses. I don't know, if there is a license fee, so let's try not to be recouped because it could be a problem with you, whatever. But at the end of the day, we are here to make games. So if I have to start a problem with lawyers and maybe having 2 years litigation, what's that? So it doesn't go with me. So I know when I'm signing a contract that, okay, it should be there, but it's about, the trust on each company. And at least in my case, only one time we felt like that was like, I don't know, was not fair. But in the other cases, we had a super nice close of the relationship because it was super, let's say, they had this explanation, It happened this, and everybody knows what happens. So I'm sorry, guys, but it's not easy to protect yourself. We will be here if some of your young companies need some review. We can help, but it's tough.
So, well, that sucks. So as we have been talking before, the industry has done a massive growth, for the last years. So do you think that the current crisis is a result of the saturation or over-ambitious expansion?
Well, I think at the very end it's saturation. Of course, COVID was like a catalyst that accelerated this saturation, but there's more and more games and not that many new users. And, content is growing faster than, the market. So this means, and I agree with what they said before, I mean, this has to create some changes in the industry because it's not sustainable. And we have seen in the recent year a lot of companies closing down, a lot more will close in the next year. What will come out of that? I don't know. I mean, of course, if even publishers don't know, so it's hard, right? But just as a short story, I had a casual conversation with the publishers like a couple years ago, and they said, okay, like 10 years ago, we did the profit and loss Excels, the perfect Excels. We were talking before about revenue and all that, expected revenue and all that, right? And they said, we know, we're quite good at it. We know we have a 15% error margin, right? 10 years ago. Right now, I can say the name of the publisher, but for the last X games, it's 50%. 50% margin error on a project and loss, it's crazy. It means you don't know if your game is going to work or not. So you're just guessing. And I understand it. It's so hard to know. It's impossible. So even if the people that knows more in the history about the market don't know, how can we expect to know anything? We can just, trust our instincts and deliver a product that we think will be fun, disruptive, or interesting for whatever reason.
I agree, but there is something that Pablo said in the other table. For me, it's one of the keys because I'm not sure about, I don't have these statistics, but I don't think that it's a super huge difference between number of games in 2020, 2021, where everybody was gifting the money, Embracer Group, all these kind of big companies, and the difference between 2024, 2023 in number of games. I don't think it's super different. Maybe I'm wrong. But I guess that's something that Pablo said about game as a service. People is playing Fortnite, people is playing the names that all of you know. And it accelerated a lot during COVID. During COVID, it happened something that a lot of people was playing these kind of games as a service. So you are super stick to these games. And then it happened to me. I used to buy, I don't know, maybe 50 games in a year. And now I reduced a lot what I bought. So I don't know, it's my case. It's not a global case, but in my opinion, this kind of games, this game as a service, let's say, strategy made that a lot of people is not buying the new thing because, I'm stick to this game. Why? I need to play another game, So I guess one of the reasons there are more out there. So guys, it's time to be more out of the box than ever. We are doing a third-person shooter, so we are crazy. We are multiplayer also. But we're trying to do something super different. Also, this example, I guess, just a couple of months ago or less, this game about game card shop, so it's crazy. So it's doing a lot. So you need to be super smart thinking about what can surprise the audience, going out of the box, and also having in consideration the new tendencies and the new kind of users.
Do you want to add something? If you want, if not.
I don't know. I don't have the answer. But the thing is that I've been to Gamescom last month, and actually, I think I already said this too many times. I was very excited to see there are so many games, and high quality and pretty unique. But at the same time, it was overwhelming because I knew that a huge percentage of that game is not going to be released. An hour could be one of those, right? So it's made me to decide to, how can I put this? To make effort to adapt our game to be feasible, to be right. Because at the end, what we want is to release the game and interact with the players. Because otherwise, it doesn't make any sense. So that's the only input I can make it.
Great, thank you. So, Ferran, you mentioned now games as a service, as Pablo said before, and Fortnite. I see in the studios doing super creative games, but they struggle getting noticed, in a crowded market. So, how can the industry better support indie developers, you know, and this super creativity and author games, you know.
But when you say the industry, what do you mean? How the industry can support us, let's say?
Yeah.
You know, how?
I don't know,
The industry, because, sorry, but
like
the concept of the industry, it's
like platform, for example, like a Steam, for example, or I don't know.
But I will say the industry doesn't have a problem with that. It's us that have the problem accessing the industry, right? So, I mean, I will say just as, I mean, when we started Piccolo, we did like, you know, research because we come from advertising, right? So we were advertisers for more than 15 years. So we went into video games because it was easier maybe, you know, because it was simpler than advertising. We were very born out of advertising. So there was this statistic that 90% of companies that tried to start a video game company failed. And 50% of companies that did the first video game failed doing the second one, right? So, and the thing is, that was the good old days. You know? So now it's way worse. And
something else, we can become Finland. Why not? They gave 3 million without no need to return to Supercell. Now they are earning a lot more. Of course, I guess it was 200 million per year in taxes. Okay, why not? Let's trust on this industry I know, it's better than 10 years ago, of course. We have people, some of them around here, doing a lot for this industry. But at the end of the day, it's a matter of talent and be better every day. And you need to reinvent yourself. Also, think about the company as a business. For example, we started in 2018. This new company, the Bridge Studios. We don't understand a company that don't make revenues. So we did a lot of work for hire with the game for La Liga. La Liga is, you know, the Spanish championship. We did a lot of more things, not only our own IPs, but we need to make money to demonstrate that we are a business, that we can create an economy. And then maybe you could get more support from the actors of the ecosystem.
Do you want to add something, Xiaomi?
I think I'm pretty positive actually, because I think the industry is growing. I mean, it's getting mature. Still, there are a lot of things to do and to happen, because we're talking about 50 years. You can compare with the film industry, which is more than 100 years, or the animation, and so I think there's much things to do. So we are there in the middle of, right? But the other thing is that I thought it would be much easier. I think I always say this. I come from a different industry or so. Three of us, co-founders, come from different industry, except David, who has more experience in video game. And when I was pretty lucky, because they kind of adopt me to be part of this Melbourne, right? But maybe I was too naive, or I was too arrogant. I don't know, maybe probably both at the same time. I thought it would be much easier with my knowledge in business and investment, etc. I thought, okay, I have two very creative people. They know how to do the video game. I know how to sell it, or how to attract investment. That would be in 3 years. I will be not a millionaire, but I will be celebrating my birthday, for example, right? And but it's not happening. But I think I'm learning a lot, which is not easy these days to learn every day. And we are surrounded by very nice people, very humble, very professional people, and that's not happen all industries, right? So I think not everything is that bad.
So now that we are talking about this support to the indie developers, for example, in the startup world, I mean, when I co-founded a smaller studio years ago, I was trying to find private investment, but it was like impossible. So, but it's curious that in the startup world, you know, investors invest, you know, like in 10 startups. They know that most of them will fail, you know, some of them will keep safe, but they will recover the investment, you know. So does it happen in the video game industry that investors looking for this, you know, diversification and trying to get money. Have you seen that happen?
Oh, yes, of course. It happens all the time. So they are trying to make, let's say, in the panel, in the later panel, they also told about that, smaller investments maybe, and more, maybe 10 business of 500,000 better than one of 5 million, So this is a strategy that for a lot of years other, industries did, also video games, because we know some venture capitals that are doing like this for a lot of years, and they are kind of successful, yeah. It's risky, believe in a team, so you also as a young team, you need to demonstrate something. So I know here we are talking about early stage, we're talking about prototyping, but at the end of the day, most of the days, first you need to have an amazing team, as he said, and also some metrics maybe. If you are in the mobile world, for sure, they will call for metrics, and sometimes having these metrics is not easy. But yes, they are super diversifying. Something that maybe can be useful for people here is that we find this year, because I agree with Yami in something that we lost our main investor in July 2023. Then we attended Gamescom 2023. It was like a desert, to be honest. It was like, what's happening here, guys? But this year, I saw much more activity. People like trusting again on developers. In our case, also helped that we were very lucky because we won a couple of international awards, and it was like, oh, who are those guys? So they are like looking at us. Now we are super happy because we are talking with several of them in serious conversations, but something that I want to mention is that some of these investors, for a ticket, for example, of 300,000, 500,000, it's not that difficult, but they will ask you for looking for a lead. So they used to be followers. So they have the investment, not that much. Maybe you are looking for 1 million, let's figure out. And they can commit, okay, 500,000. But you need to find the 1 million that it's for the lead investor. So this kind of investors, if somebody wants some contacts, I can introduce you. Of course, we need to take a look at the project because, sometimes we know what they are looking for, so we can help. But yes, it's super common. I don't know if you want to add something.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think publishers have catalogs, and catalogs have to be diversified to access different niche markets, which is where, you can have success. I mean, in our case, I mean, before COVID, it was an advantage for us because we do narrative games, which is a very, very small niche market, and we know it, right? So, I mean, some publishers will finance and publish narrative games because they want to have them in their catalog, right? And they know they won't make that much money with those games than, with life as a service game or something like that. But they need this to have a full catalog of games, right? Of course, after COVID, this has changed a lot. It has turned a lot more into, in the economical outcome. Also, us as a company, we have been, moving from that niche market. We're going to another one because we think it's not sustainable, that one. But yes, right now it's a high-risk investment market. So if you've got money, you have to invest in very, very different things just to find, that gold nugget, that you don't know until, it's happened. So.
Something to add?
Yeah, no, we're talking about investor, not publisher, because they're two different things, right? In Spain, we don't have a investor specialized or with knowledge or experience in gaming industry, because still it's kind of taboo, right? I think that we need more pedagogy, we say that. We have to...
Pedagogy, to train them.
We have to teach, we need more publicity from the media, newspaper, talking about video game. as a company, as an industry, that with a huge revenue and hiring a lot of people, right, and talented people. So that's one thing. So we have to, whenever, as a Spanish studio, small studio, when we have to go for investor, we have to go abroad. So when we have to go abroad, we're competing with European company, Asian company, American company. So sometimes we are too little, we are too humble, we are asking less money, and they have a higher ticket. So I think it's lack of experience, but eventually we'll be there, right? We have the example of this.
No, something that, sorry to interrupt you, but something that happens sometimes and it's super annoying, it happens to us, I don't know, 5 times, maybe more. It's that you are in this kind of calls with investors, of course, international investors, and you are pitching your game, blah, 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 blah. You get into the last slide and it's like, hey, we're looking for a couple of millions. And they said, wait, we don't do investments less than 20. And it was like, okay.
Yeah, that's really happened, right? The ticket are much higher than what we are asking, because we are asking just to do the game. So we should be more demanding, maybe. So, but I think it's lack of experience. I think that there are cases that have been, oh, maybe no, we haven't, we have a different case like Lobarama, right? They got a very good investor and equity in company, and turns to be they didn't know how to. Oh, I don't know what happened to them actually. I'm not going to say that, but there are other companies there with foreign investment didn't manage to survive or release the game successfully. So, but I'm sure that there are other smaller or unknown studios that they are doing quite a good deal, right?
Yeah. It's a shame, but we are running out of time. I mean, it has been amazing, your insights and sharing this information with us. We don't have time for questions, but I mean, there will be this networking cocktail afterwards powered by Catalan Arts. So we will there have the time to talk to each other and ask them anything that you want. So thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Agafa l'aigua, por favor. Gracias. Gracias. Voy.
Thanks to our panelists, and last but not least, let's meet GameBCN and 9th edition teams. Let's go. Now it's the time. For 9 years, GameBCN has been helping talent to improve their production pipeline and maximize their business opportunity with the help of amazing experts from the industry, from Social Point, Gameloft, Marvelous, Ubisoft, iInteractive, FunPlus, and other studios. Welcome, with a warm applause, GameBCN teams that have been working on their games with us for 7 months.
Thank you.
Hello there, fellow humans. It's a pleasure to be here.
What is that? For the first game, I hope you never got angry with your vacuum cleaner for getting stuck in a closet, because, trust me, today is not the day. A big round of applause for the funniest vacuum cleaners in the room. Here comes Roombattle by Dust Games.
Yeah, thank you so much for this introduction. As I was saying, so this is Roombattle. Now, the truth is that I am actually a solo dev, because I don't suck at anything. Well, I want to thank first my mother for making me the vacuum cleaner I am today.
What are you doing here, room boss?
I don't know this
It's
guy.
not your turn.
I don't know this guy, really.
Come here.
Who are you?
Come here. No, come here. Shut up, okay? So be quiet. Rest here. All be okay. Sorry for that. Can you imagine 2 vacuum cleaners in a living room with a sharp object at the front and balloons at the back? So welcome to Roombattle. Roombattle is the first game about vacuum cleaner fighting. Can you imagine that? But it's not the only thing, because it's the first game that mixes wholesome with fighting. In Roombattle, there's no blood, it's only funny and comedian, because you need to pop all the balloons of the vacuum cleaners to achieve the victory. Also, you can play with all the players, as it's up to 6 players, and we are innovating because it's mixed genre. We mix party games with fighting. So, more than popping balloons, you have special attacks, special movements that, if you use correctly, will stun your opponents and will help you to kill them. Also, all the maps have a lot of interactions. These interactions will be like, for example, destroying all the things in the maps, cactus, a lot of things depending on the thematics. But as I said, you are a vacuum cleaner, so you destroy and you clean it. But then we have the power-ups. Power-ups will give to the player the advantages necessary to achieve the victory, with some funniest, for example, making larger the swords. But at this moment, you will play at local version. It's a local multiplayer version. But we are working at this moment on the online part and also on the bots, because you need to train alone at home, because you need to win your friends later when you play with them. A game mode will mix fighting with minigames. And if you win the round with minigames, they will give you a mystery skill. That mystery skill is like a power-up, but more powerful, and it will be in the next round for you. This minigames part, it's not only in the fighting, because we are implementing 15 minigames that we will also part of a only minigame mode. This can be real with the Roomboss crew. We just started as friends, a small project at university, and now we are creating those games and our first professional project that is Roombattle. Also, last year we have been pre-incubated and level up, and later we have been this year thanks to GameBCN in the incubation program. So that's all. If you want to have fun, come here. We have a lot of balloons to pop.
You finished now?
No.
So yeah, I want to thank my mom for making me the vacuum. No, my
Sorry.
precious balloon.
Clean away your enemies.
Wholesome Games' mission, freedom to explore new depths, reflects their commitment to creativity and innovation. As a collective of independent game developers based in Barcelona, they embrace experimentation, allowing them to explore various genres without limitations. The Dream Observatory was born for their participation in last year's Indie Spain Jam, where diversity, creativity, and hard work lead them to become finalists. Together, they are not just making games, they are crafting dreams. Please welcome them.
You to close your eyes. What do you see? The nothingness, right? That's what the dream weaver, the one who creates dreams for each dreamer at night, sees when he sleeps. Now open your eyes and witness. How does it feel to dream? Wonders the dream weaver each night while crafting dreams for others, because there is nobody making dreams to him. Each night, you will have cards that you can combine to create a dream. And then, experimenting with them, you can find out which one you have to deliver to each dream. Letting to know each dreamer is key, because delivering a wrong dream will have consequences both for the dreamer and the observatory. During the day, you will be free to roam the observatory to your heart's content. You will be able to purchase items to improve your performance, and you will be able to reveal the secrets beneath the observatory and reveal the mystery behind it. You will start with a small deck of cards, but by combining them, you will reach over 150 possible combinations. The Dream Observatory is a well-oiled machine, but it's not perfect. Through minigame-style puzzles, you will be able to recalibrate it, thus combining multiple genres of games into one cohesive, cozy, and varied experience. I remember back in 2019 when I met Alejandro and Isi at La Merced. As soon as I saw them, I knew we were up to something big. Then, during the pandemic, we started participating in game jams, and our games inspired the rest of the team to join us. And together, combining our skills like they were cards in the Dream Observatory, we offer to you a dream come true. I encourage you to pay us a visit there, right there, and let's join us together to make sure the dream weaver knows how does it feel to have a dream.
And now, out of the red corner, a weight of 142 kilobytes and a height of 32 by 32 pixels, fresh from hell itself, the most ruthless outlaw of the Wild West, with all of you, Poncho Rodriguez!
Thank you. What do cowboys, samurai, pirates, and Abraham Lincoln have in common? All my life. All my life, I wanted to be the Hellfire Poncho. Follow the steps of Poncho Rodriguez through a frenetic roguelike twin-stick shooter with pixel art aesthetic, a strong color palette, humoristic narrative, and all of that while listening to electro-western music. Where when you finish a run, you will be able to keep some of the upgrades you earn and add them to your personal deck. Why? Because then, and only then, you will be able to bet your upgrades against the main bosses in a dice poker minigame, with a completely different style, a 3D scene, with a movement inspired by games like Inscription, with a gameplay inspired by games like Balatro, with special dice that may change the course of the game entirely in a moment. Keeping the pixel art aesthetic, step with us into a surreal world. Cowboys, samurai, pirates, and Abraham Lincoln, what's up with those guys? All of them were contemporaries. By the way, this is a real picture, I'm not lying. What does that mean? That all of them would meet in our 4 different hells, each one of them with a different but strong color palette again, with unique enemies, mechanics, traps, bosses, but most importantly, the opportunity to meet Poncho, Pincho, Pancho, and Puncho. These guys with unique weapons and abilities, but they are the same person. They are represented as the different personalities of our main character. And finally, let me invite you to our saloon in between runs, where we have dice poker tables, fellows, to have a drink with, a live music band, and comrades who can help you get stronger. We got a special stool for you there at our stand. Ask for Poncho Rodriguez.
Wow, that was intense. Let's jump to our next theme. There are games that truly change your life. They can evoke such strong emotions that they shake something deep inside you. Stories that can reach beyond the screen, challenge your limits, and change how you see and how you experience the world, or remind you what really matters in your life. This is the purpose of Magic Brain Studios, to inspire, to move, and transform people's lives through the power of video games. Big applause for them.
Imagine you just finished a game. You are sitting in a room, the lights are off, and there's something different in your eyes. Something in the story of the game makes you remember a conversation that you have avoided for years. an apology that you have never offered. So for the first time in a long time, you pick up the phone and call that number. The game you just played is Lua, a musical journey on your skate to connect with what really matters in life, the people we love. In Lua, you synchronize your actions, your tricks to the beat of the music. And you will travel through high mountains, epic landscapes, and snowy nights. Each level has a custom-made song, created especially for each moment and each emotion of Lua, our protagonist. And you will not be alone in this journey. You will meet peculiar characters that will help you in this journey. And talking about help, I met Italo while skating almost 10 years ago. And since 2020, we started developing the idea of this game with this amazing team. Our music band has 2 album releases, one with Sony. And they create music specialized for nature and skating vibes. In Lua's journey, you start in the city. After a big argument with someone you love, you take your skate and run away to the mountains, to your grandma's house. There, surrounded by the fresh air, you will find comfort. And you will live the best moments of your life, but also the hardest one. So, to overcome this challenge, you will have to fix your relationship. And to know what really happens in this story to make you call that person that you have avoided for years, I will be happy to talk to you at the Lua stand. Let's skate.
Today we have Nicolas with us, co-founder and game designer of Notbug Studios, an indie mobile game studio. He's here to present their new game, Pranimals, a fun adventure that blends luck-based mechanics with magical and charming characters. Big applause for him.
Have you ever go to the casino and to play at the casino and just to be defeated by the main casino rules that's called the house always win? That's because you never go to the casino with a Pranimal. Now you may be asking, what's a Pranimal? What the hell is a Pranimal? How I can get a Pranimal? To get a Pranimal, you need to play Pranimals. And if you can play Pranimals, maybe, just maybe, you could convert yourself into the Lucky Master. Okay, so let's start. What's Pranimals? Pranimals is an hybrid mobile game between Monopoly and Pokemon, with spin battle mechanics. And let's have some fun. What's the main concept in our game is the chance, because we are a chance-based game. But not only a chance-based game, we're focused on the T3 MCC genre. That's tap, 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 magician click choice game. Composed from 90% of chance and 10% of skills. And we add to this one the dices. How we build this? With this pyramid of 6 features. First, for the first foundation features, we have the quick sections. Then we have the high win frequency, finalizing with the collective animals. And in the middle, for the meta game, we put the city builder and also the board and dices, because we're a board game. Let me show you what is our board. This is the board, and we put there our animals, that's Bubui, and then we put dices. So the player just needs to roll dice to defeat or defeat enemies, or maybe meet some other bonuses. And what happens when the players meet an enemy? The magic happens. It's the turn-based spin battles. That is our main innovation in our game. What is the spin battles? Spin battles, it's where everything is decided by the luck. So the player, when to defeat an enemy or maybe another player, they have to do a spin and only decide which one is the amount of the bet that the players want to do in every spin. So we combine a hidden slot machine through the mechanics that we show to the player. So less word and more action. Thanks. So if you like our game, maybe you are one of the two type of players that we want to bring this game. One, maybe you like the slots, or maybe the lottery, or bingos, or poker. Or maybe in the other side, you are a player that you want to turn-based games like Pokemon, defeat enemies, evolve, upgrade your stats. So Pranimals is in the middle of these two big audiences that we want to achieve them. Pranimals is our main project, and how we could do this, or how we can do this, is because we have some guarantees. What are these guarantees? It's because we're developers, but we're developers with a lot of experience, more than 15 years of experience, working from huge companies and huge franchises during this time. We are from Chile, and before working together, we delivered more than 30 titles across all platforms. And we are not only developers, we are also gamers. A lot of gamers comes to here to make their games, but we have a lot of commitment. We come from Chile 2 months ago. Instead of this program is online, we prefer to come here, to be here in front of you, just to show our project and our commitment to the program and to the ecosystem of Spain. So let's invite you to Spins, not with me, Spins with Pranimal in our booth.
Not Too Serious Games presents a dream that has been tucked away in a drawer for over 30 years. A world board game that has been rediscovered and updated. Thus, AKURU is born.
Think about the last conversation you have with someone and you thought, wow, 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 what a wonderful person. Why do we have this sensation? Several studies said that knowing a good vocabulary has a direct impact to people's opinions. We can say that words make us sexist. And we know that. And for this reason, we made AKURU, a free-to-play mobile game that dares your language skills. Our core game loop, our team, and our focus on user experience are the pillar of our game. Let's take a look. Ale. ¿Ya está? the beginning, the player has only one goal: clear the board of consonants. Why? By doing words. Simple and easy. Vowels are the main resource of our game because they link consonants. And if the player wants to remove some words, they can do it wherever he wants. We want that players feel so smart. And for this reason, we make some power-ups, but a little tricky. Because get a vowel is always useful, but a consonant, not. Players need to think very strategically. At the end of the level, player claims some coins, experience, and stars too. Coins for get some power-ups. Experience to achieve the missions, and stars to unlock content that he don't know that exists. 1 year later, 1 year after I ended my degree, I had a call from Oscar, the director of my university. He said to me, "Hi, Martí, I'm working on a game and I need devs. Let's talk," and whatever he wants. But was Xavi Bru, the true businessman, who explained me the idea? And what do you think that I said? Yes? No, I'm a dev. I love numbers, not letters. But when I went home, I arrived at home, I talked to my mother and said, play the game and then give me some feedback. And 1 hour and a half later, I went to my reading room, and I see my mother that is still playing. And under a spotlight, he turned it to me, and he said, "Martí, I hate W letters." That's what's the point that I said that this game could be a good potential into the market. Then, with Arnau, we made a prototype, and when we know that we are selected for GameBCN, we assembled the team with Abel and Marcel. And now we have a great engine, but this engine needs some fuel. With a cozy adventure aesthetic, we want to bring a unique experience to all of players, but inside the same progression. Because the final goal that we have is to enrich the user vocabulary. Our game is fun, but also useful. Thanks to our core game loop, our team, and our focus in user experience, nowadays, AKURU is a reality. And if you want to play this game, you see that under your seats, there's nothing, but you can talk with us in our stand, play in itch.io, and learn your language skills. Remember, if you play our game, you want to be so sexy.
Wow. I really want to play all these games. Any of them caught your eye? Just check where they are and go play afterwards. And by the way, you can also go and check GameBCN's website where you can download the demos of these projects. And now, please, Oscar, join me on the stage. Let's talk.
Hi again. I'll be brief, because we all want to go to the networking area. So every year, we are so proud about the teams that we incubate. That would be possible thanks to the amazing mentors that we have in the program. I see Ramon here, I see Nacho there, Juan Angel. So it's great to have you in the program. Thank you very much for your support. And of course, I started managing GameBCN 7 years ago, and I was alone together with Simon and Josep Maria. But we have been growing, and this would be possible without this amazing team that we have created. So applause to all of them. And if you haven't been at the program, so I'll let you know that in a couple of weeks we are going to open the call for GameBCN 10th edition.
Woo.
So follow up in social media, in our website, and we want to work with you. So thank you.
Thank you, Oscar. And now, just before closing the event, please welcome Eva Colom, digital culture expert at Catalan Arts, who have sponsored the networking cocktail we are about to have with Indie Dev Day.
Okay.
Thanks, Eva.
Thank you. So thank you very much. I'm very happy, and all the Catalan Arts team here to be here. So Catalan Arts is the internationalization brand, difficult word and sometimes difficult to do, to internationalize Catalan cultural companies which video games are part of. So we, for instance, organized this big present in Gamescom that we did last month, and we are very glad to start this new first collaboration with Game Barcelona, Demo Day, and with Indie Dev Day. So if tomorrow you are at Indie Dev Day, you can come to our booth, Generalitat de Catalunya, the Catalan government, and just join us for this nice networking event, and see you then, and we can talk together if you want. And Oscar and Fer are doing something to me. We have a very short video. We have time. So thank you very much, and see you there.
Via our network of offices in Europe, we work on a variety of lines of action to connect, mentor, and support creative companies in their international journey. To this end, we work to build local, national, and international connections, promote the presence of Catalan companies and their creative works at markets, fairs, and key professional events, and encourage the co-production and the distribution of Catalan projects. We also support films and talent selected at international festivals and act as the industry's official Catalan Government Ministry of Culture representatives at international markets. Thus, we offer a range of useful materials and resources to professionals based in Catalonia who want to develop their projects internationally, as well as to professionals from other countries looking for artistic productions and willing to establish contact with their creators and promoters.
We also want to thank our friends from Indie Dev Day who have collaborated with us to make this event even bigger and better. And just to remember you, tomorrow Indie Dev Day starts, and we hope to see you all there. And with that, we are finishing our event for today. A huge shout out goes to the speakers, promoters, and each of every one of you for making this day an amazing day. And you are unwavering patient fields of the fire in this industry. A special thank you goes to our promoters, the Generalitat de Catalunya and the Ajuntament de Barcelona. And not forget our available partners, Social Point, Clusters, Marvelous, Game Love Barcelona, Ubisoft Barcelona, IO Interactive, Anchor Point, and FunPlus. Please enjoy the cocktail and see you soon. Thanks.